They always say
You came there and sat there and ate with us and everything and jiggled with us and talked.
Yeah, I mean,
and you asked me, could you stay over there for that night? And I told you no. So get it right.
I was gonna be cordial, yeah, because I'm not that type of person.
Hold on. Mr. Wallace, get out the court. Get out the court. You know what? You sorrier than I thought you were. Get out the courtroom, Mr. Wallace. Mr. Wallace, leave the courtroom.
Go out of the courtroom.
All right, folks, grab your popcorn because this one's pure courtroom chaos. We open with Judge Lake reminding everyone this is Ms. Austin's third time in paternity court with the same man, Mr. Wallace. Third time. At this point, they need a loyalty card for drama. She's here to prove he's the father of her 9-month-old son, Ronell, and wants him to finally step up as a dad. Meanwhile, he's sitting there denying, sighing, and acting like this is all new information.
Ms. Austin, this is your third time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Ms. Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation.
Judge Lake rolls the footage from their previous appearance, and oh boy, it's deja vu with drama. We see Mr. Wallace admitting he's married by accident and telling women what they want to hear. Ms. Roberts cried her eyes out, Ms. Austin looked tired, and Judge Lake looked done. Fast forward to today, and nothing's changed. Ms. Austin's back, pregnant again, and Judge Lake's face says what we're all thinking. Girl, not you again.
And Hope Day is your last visit to this courtroom. Let's take a look at what happened the last time you all were here.
I thought Rael got himself together.
In addition, you have another child with Ms. Austin.
The kids, I love my kids dearly, but I shouldn't have
You
got
just
married.
don't love their mother.
Ms. Austin admits things were good for about 5 minutes before everything fell apart. She says she's now pregnant with her third child by the same man, while he's still bouncing between her and Ms. Roberts. At this point, it's less a love triangle and more a messy infinity loop. Judge Lake tries to stay calm, but you can see her mentally filing for early retirement. Even the audience looks exhausted on Ms. Austin's behalf.
You had your kids. You sounded so happy. You sound like you were on the right track. You said you had your kids and you all were having a great day. And I have been talking about you nonstop since then. When people ask me some of the cases that mean the most to me, you're one of the people. And so I have to say before I even start today, I'm so...
Judge Lake notices Ms. Austin nervously smiling and calls it out. It's not funny. Ms. Austin admits she's embarrassed to be back, but she's disgusted with herself for repeating the same cycle. Judge Lake nods, clearly feeling for her, but also frustrated. Then she turns to Mr. Wallace, who just shrugs like he's here for casual entertainment. The lack of accountability on this man is Olympic-level impressive.
I wouldn't blame you if you were, but it's not funny. I keep seeing a smirk on your face. You know
it's sad. Because it's sad that I'm back here again.
You're disgusted with yourself that you're back here.
Yeah, for the same reason.
I can see behind your eyes the hurt. And the baby could potentially be yours?
Yes.
Now Mr. Wallace starts accusing Ms. Austin of being promiscuous. He even confesses he put spyware on her phone to track her messages. Yes, you heard that right. He literally installed surveillance software like a budget detective. He claims it proved she was texting other men. Ms. Austin claps back hard, demanding proof. You can feel the tension rising fast. Judge Lake is 2 seconds away from banging her gavel like a drumline snare.
Because she's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. It's what they would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. And again, for about the 5th, 6th time.
And here it comes. The verbal explosion. Mr. Wallace calls Ms. Austin a slut, and instantly, Judge Lake snaps. We will speak to women respectfully in this courtroom. The whole room freezes. The energy shifts from petty to volatile in seconds. Ms. Austin fires back, yelling that if she's so bad, why does he keep sleeping with her? The man mumbles, "Easy access." The audience collectively gasps. Even Jerome looks like he wants to leave the building.
Because that's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut.
No, you're a slut.
Hold on.
You're a slut. You're a
Mr.
slut.
Wallace,
You're a
you
slut.
remember from the
You're a
last time
slut.
you were here,
I don't-
we are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. You can express yourself, but do it respectfully. So you believe she was sleeping around?
After the chaos, Ms. Roberts, the other woman, tries to speak up, but things get too heated, and Judge Lake has her removed from the courtroom. That's right, removed. The tension has officially reached a new level. Ms. Austin looks furious, Mr. Wallace looks smug, and the judge? She's just trying to hold this circus together with grace and a side of disbelief.
Due to the exchange that occurred between Ms. Roberts and Ms. Austin, Ms. Roberts has been removed from the courtroom. We're here because yet another child is in the world, and we're unsure if you are their biological father. Ronell, 9 months old.
Mr. Wallace insists he's only doubting the baby's paternity because Ms. Austin talked to other people. She admits she did, but only because she was hurt. She wanted revenge after all his lies. Judge Lake jumps in with a lesson we've all heard before. 2 wrongs don't make a right, they make more wrong. The courtroom nods in agreement, but Mr. Wallace just sits there with the emotional awareness of a brick wall.
Are you admitting that you also had a relationship with somebody else during the time?
No, I wouldn't even call it a relationship.
It was just someone else you were seeing?
Yeah, talking to.
Okay.
Because I was hurt.
But if you...
by trying to get back at Ronell for the things that he has done to me.
Then, Judge Lake dives deeper, asking why he gets to sleep around, but calls his partners promiscuous. His silence says it all. Ms. Austin presents photo evidence to prove her son looks like him. Same chin, same feet, she says proudly. But Mr. Wallace dismisses it with the coldest line ever. You can't just go off looks. Sir, the DNA test will handle that part just fine. The man's confidence in denial is unmatched.
Just out of the blue, he woke up and said, I'm gonna move with Ms. Roberts now?
Just go with her.
So what happened?
You were being promiscuous, and I'm not gonna tolerate that.
So basically, Mr. Wallace, you can sleep around, but your women can't.
Things turn emotional when Ms. Austin breaks down crying. She says she's done everything for him, stood by him, supported him, even got an apartment for them to be a family, but he keeps leaving her. You can hear the heartbreak in her voice. She's not even angry anymore, she's just tired. The courtroom goes silent. Even Judge Lake's face softens. It's one of those rare quiet moments on Paternity Court that hits hard.
I'm going off her actions.
You couldn't forgive her. You all couldn't work through this. Instead, you just went to stay with Miss Roberts.
And abandoned me and my children.
That's false.
The apartment that I have now is because I moved in because of Ronell. Because of Ronell. Ronell left me to go be with Miss Roberts.
Judge Lake then delivers one of her signature truth bombs. Mr. Wallace hasn't grown enough to be in a position to want anybody. And that's the realest line of the episode. She tells Ms. Austin she's chasing someone who doesn't even know who he is yet. The women nod silently. You can feel the exhaustion, the years of chaos. It's heavy stuff, and the DNA results haven't even dropped yet.
She could sit here and put on a show, but
no, that's not a show. Everybody knows
having
that.
Other men, we wouldn't have this problem.
Everyone knows that. He sits in my house, texts Miss Roberts.
Miss Austin, for the life of me, I love this young man because I've invested so much time in him, but I don't know.
And then, the drama reaches boiling point. Mr. Wallace gets agitated, accuses Ms. Austin of performing for the cameras, and threatens to walk out again. Judge Lake stands firm, ordering him to stay and finish what he started. But he snaps back, yelling across the room. For a moment, it feels like security might have to step in. It's pure disorder in the court. And fittingly, that's exactly what this episode is titled.
But he left my house. He leaves my house and goes spends the night out at Kendrick's house, with his stuff still being at my house until I took it to his mom's house. And that's where his stuff been at ever since. He just came back to my house not too long ago like 3 days ago because him and Kendrick had a fight.
When you just broke down a moment ago, I felt for you because...
After a tense break, Mr. Wallace returns, visibly calmer. Judge Lake thanks him for coming back and tells him she doesn't want him repeating old mistakes. She promises to give him what he came for, the DNA results. You can feel the tension rebuild as Jerome passes her the envelope. Everyone in the room is holding their breath, especially Ms. Austin, whose face says, "Please, let this be over."
Mr. Wallace, I'm glad you came back. What I was trying to tell you before you left is I don't want you to make the same mistake again. When you were just speaking to me and you said you're taking her side, I'm not gonna let you leave here thinking I'm taking anybody's side. I'm asking the questions that need to be asked. Now we're gonna get you these results.
Judge Lake opens the results. In the case of Austin versus Wallace, when it comes to 9-month-old Rennell Wallace, the room is silent. Mr. Wallace, you are the father. Boom. Ms. Austin lets out a relieved sigh. Mr. Wallace looks humbled, and the entire courtroom exhales in unison. Judge Lake immediately shifts into compassion mode, introducing a social worker via video call to get these two actual help. Finally, a peaceful ending.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Austin versus Wallace, pertaining to 9-month-old Rennell Wallace, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Wallace, you are Rennell's father.
The social worker appears on screen, offering resources and counseling. Mr. Wallace surprisingly agrees, saying, "Yes, sir," and promising to accept help. Judge Lake smiles, proud but firm, reminding them that change and consistency are the keys now. The audience applauds softly as the couple nods, and for once, there's hope. After all that chaos, this might be the first step toward real growth. Court is adjourned.
Yes.
Yes. And thank you so much, Mr. Wright, and I look forward to hearing about the progress. We will be putting them in touch with you immediately.
All right.
Thank you, sir. That's wonderful. I wish you young people the very best. Go back, talk about this.
All right, folks, this episode starts with some serious throwback energy. Judge Lake announces that Ms. Smith, aka Gin and Juice, is claiming that Mr. Williams fathered her 24-year-old daughter, Alexis. Now, Mr. Williams is straight up furious. He says it's impossible because back in the day, Ms. Smith was a party girl. His words, not mine. He swears they were just hooking up after a few drinks, but no relationship. Tell that to the DNA test.
Mr. Williams, you say you knew Miss Smith 24 years ago when she was a promiscuous party girl. You are furious that after a chance meeting 20 years later, she is now claiming you fathered her adult daughter, Alexis. Miss Smith, you say there's no doubt Mr. Williams is the father of your daughter, and you told him as much.
Mr. Williams doubles down and proudly says he practiced safe sex. He even waves imaginary evidence around, like that's going to save him. Judge Lake, with the calmness of a saint, asks if protection was used every time. Ms. Smith wastes no time saying, "No, we didn't." And just like that, the courtroom shifts. He's shouting, "That's a lie." She's shouting, "You didn't." It's giving vintage Paternity Court chaos. You can practically feel Jerome trying not to laugh.
After a few drinks and stuff, we'd probably go back to my place or whatever was presentable. And we'd have sex and stuff, but other than that there was nothing. We were never in a relationship, that's the bottom line.
Well, you say it's impossible you can be her daughter's father, but from what you just described, it sounds like it is possible you could be her daughter's father.
Let me show you something.
Then Mr. Williams throws out a story straight from a soap opera. He claims he didn't even know Ms. Smith had a baby until friends told him about someone named Gin and Juice. His reaction? Who the hell is Gin and Juice? The audience laughs, and even Judge Lake pauses like she needs a moment to process that nickname. When Ms. Smith calmly admits, "Yes, Your Honor, that was me," the whole courtroom loses it. The 90s must have been wild, y'all.
You knew where I stayed at.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. You knew.
So what happened 3 years ago?
She was up with some of my friends of mine, partying. She was, like I said, a party girl. And
3 years ago, still partying?
3 years ago, I was not partying 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was in the church shouting, changed my life and everything.
Still
so I don't know what he do. No, I don't.
So apparently, years later, the two run into each other on a bus. Ms. Smith says he asked how her daughter was doing and came to visit twice. Mr. Williams insists it was once. You know it's messy when people are arguing over the number of visits. He claims he told the daughter, "Your mama lies a lot," while Ms. Smith fires back that he actually tried to stay the night. Woo! Judge Lake's face during this entire exchange? Pure disbelief.
That way you don't have to tell me no lies.
I'm not gonna tell you no lies.
All right, so I won't ask why they called you that. But anyway, Mr. Williams, 3 years ago, you start hearing rumors.
Rumors about I had a child, yeah. Then we saw each other on the bus at that time. This was around about that time too. And she was telling me that your daughter want to talk to you or something like that there.
Now we finally meet Alexis, the daughter at the center of this storm. She's 24, calm, and sweet, totally opposite of the chaos surrounding her. She says she'd only ever heard his name once in her life. Growing up, she called her grandfather and uncle Daddy. That hit everyone hard. Judge Lake nods, clearly moved, as Alexis says she was happy to meet the man she thought was her real father. Cue the heartbreak already brewing.
But she started saying, well, you the daddy. No, I'm not the dad. I'm not the daddy, baby.
So you came all the way over there to tell her that you were not her biological father?
Look at the child. They always say you
You came there and sat there and ate with us and everything and jiggled with us and talked.
Yeah, I mean,
and you asked me, could you stay over there that night? And I told you no.
Alexis recalls the day she met him. She came home from work. He was waiting at her mom's house. They laughed, ate dinner, and for the first time in her life, she felt like she had a dad. You can see her trying not to cry as she says, "Not once did he tell me I wasn't his father." And then, bam, Mr. Williams coldly says, "Well, I'm telling you now, I'm not your father." The audience groans. Judge Lake looks so done.
There's no possible way you can be my child.
So wait a minute, Mr. Williams, before you get to that conclusion, I want to hear from Alexis. I mean, at this point, you've never had an opportunity to meet your father. How did that visit go for you when he came to visit?
I was excited. I enjoyed the time.
Judge Lake turns to Ms. Smith like, "Why did it take you 21 years to tell your daughter who her father was?" Ms. Smith admits she told Alexis there were 2 possibilities. That's when the courtroom erupts again. Mr. Williams jumps in yelling, "There you go, another man!" Ms. Smith tries to explain, but Judge Lake shuts it down with one of her best lines ever. "Let's not just put it on Mr. Williams. You played a part too. Facts only."
I'm not your daddy, you know. But since I got to this point, I'm telling her now that I'm not your father. I mean, it's the bottom line, I'm not your father. From one parent to another, I don't think that is my child, and I'm adamant about that there.
So, Ms. Smith, I want to know from you.
Alexis steps up again, defending her mom, saying she still got all the love she needed growing up. But then her voice cracks as she says, "It was still hard. You can feel the ache, that longing for a dad she never knew." Even Mr. Williams softens a bit. It's a rare moment where the courtroom goes quiet, everyone realizing this isn't just TV drama. It's real pain spanning 2 decades.
Which no, it's not my child. It's not my child for the simple fact, what woman in their right mind waits 21 years and then brings something up like this lady? That's foolish, that's ludicrous.
I wasn't finna run all over our land trying to find you.
You knew where you were coming to the house?
She had her mama.
When you were coming to the house, you knew where it was?
She had her mama.
Now, enter Mr. Williams' real daughter, Ika. She comes in all poised and confident, saying she's here to support both sides. But the second she speaks, her dad interrupts. "Look at the 2 of them. They don't even look alike." Judge Lake side-eyes him so fast it could start a windstorm. Ika, though, disagrees. "We look alike, we act alike, we have the same personality." The audience actually applauds. The girl's conviction is solid.
Alexis met your daughter, and your daughter's name is Derica.
My daughter's name is Derica.
She's actually in court today. I'd like to hear from her. Jerome, will you please escort Derica Williams into the courtroom? Hi, Ms. Williams. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you know, we are talking about...
Ika tells the story of how she reached out to Alexis after hearing about her. She wanted to get to know her sister. She even flew down for Christmas, and Alexis did her hair, but Mr. Williams keeps muttering, "She's not my child." The daughters exchange looks that say, "We're related, no matter what you say." Even Judge Lake can't hide her smile watching these young women form a bond despite the chaos.
I really do believe she's my sister. I know that there's some doubt or, maybe some things didn't go right back 24 years ago and, her mom didn't tell everything. But when I called her, I let her know who I was, that I was Derek's daughter, and that I wanted to get to know them and see if they were.
Then comes the most emotional moment. Alexis starts crying as she talks about how much Mr. Williams loves Ika. "He cherishes her," she says, voice trembling, "and I never had that." The whole courtroom feels it. Even Mr. Williams goes quiet. Judge Lake gently reminds him every child deserves to know who their father is. The atmosphere shifts. Less anger, more sadness. Everyone's waiting for the truth now.
Alexis did do my hair one day. I came down to Florida, had some family to
Christmas
see.
Eve last year, this past year.
She did my hair, and we were talking with her mom, and she did say that she didn't let any of her kids know, let the dads know that she was pregnant when she actually got pregnant. So, who does that? I don't know.
So, Alexis?
Finally, it's DNA time. Judge Lake reminds the courtroom that no matter what, they'll leave with the truth. Jerome hands her the envelope, and you can hear the audience whispering. She reads slowly. In the case of Williams versus Smith, when it comes to 24-year-old Alexis Smith, Mr. Williams, you, the room freezes, are not the father. Gasps everywhere. Ms. Smith clutches her face. Alexis goes completely still. Mr. Williams? He smugly says, "There you go, I rest my case."
In the case of Williams versus Smith, when it comes to 24-year-old Alexis Smith, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
you are not the father.
There you go. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Now this case is what you'd call too messy for one courtroom. Ms. Reed walks into paternity court on a mission. She's suing Ms. Austin, her husband's alleged mistress, for $5,000, claiming that the affair wrecked her marriage and her finances. And if that wasn't enough, she's demanding a DNA test to prove her husband didn't father Ms. Austin's baby. Folks, when your lawsuit involves alienation of affection and potential baby daddies, it's about to get spicy.
Ms. Reed, you are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child, whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband.
Ms. Reed wastes no time spilling the tea. She says she found out about Ms. Austin right after giving birth. While recovering from the hospital, she answers her husband's phone, and bam, another woman proudly announces, "I'm his girlfriend." I mean, the audacity. The woman just had a baby, and here comes side chick energy straight through the phone lines. You can already tell Judge Lake is gearing up for a long day.
Okay, Your Honor, I found out about Mrs. Austin. One day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Raniel's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. And Mrs. Austin, she said, "I'm Raniel's girlfriend." I said, "Raniel's girlfriend? Did you know that Raniel was engaged to me or whatever and just had a baby?" She said, "No." I packed my things and I left with my 2 kids at the time.
Ms. Reed admits she tried to forgive him. Not once, but twice. She took him back, even married him, thinking maybe he'd change. But what does she find later? The same woman, same phone calls, same lies. At this point, she's got a PhD in second chances gone wrong, and I don't blame her for being fed up. Judge Lake's face says it all. "Ma'am, you should have left the first time."
But I forgave him again, knowing it was wrong, and got back in a relationship with him.
You took him back again.
Yes,
You then married him.
yes.
Okay, now, Ms. Austin, how did you get involved with a married man? We hear it may have started before the marriage and continued.
Now Ms. Austin takes the stand, calm but defiant. She claims she didn't know he was engaged, says she only found out on Facebook when she saw the marriage license post. Imagine scrolling through your feed and realizing you're the mistress. But instead of backing off, she doubles down, saying if Ms. Reed was taking care of home, he wouldn't be calling her. Oh no, she did not just say that in paternity court.
So what you're saying actually is that you didn't have any regret or remorse about it because you felt like if she was handling her business, he wouldn't be over talking to you.
Right. Your Honor, that means that she didn't mind playing the role as his little mistress, because any woman wouldn't sit there and be in a relationship with a man.
Ms. Reed claps back instantly, calling Ms. Austin out for being a little mistress. The tension is thick enough to slice with a DNA swab. Ms. Austin fires back, claiming the husband told her he only stayed with Ms. Reed for her money. And here's the kicker. Ms. Reed reveals that the escape money Ms. Austin sent her husband, he used it to take his wife out on dates. Talk about a financial plot twist.
Your Honor, like, he was staying telling her that he needed money to get away from me, but the money that she was sending Raniel, he was taking me out with her money, or he'll, like, if my kids, my child or whatever needed Pampers or milk, he'll take that money and go buy them the things that they needed.
And now it gets even messier. Ms. Reed claims Ms. Austin's ex-boyfriend might be the real father of her child, and that she herself hooked up with that same boyfriend out of revenge. Yup, you heard right. She literally dated the mistress's man just to get even. The audience gasps, and Judge Lake looks like she needs holy water. Drama overload doesn't even begin to cover this.
The other person who they say that is my daughter Muriel's father is her man, that my ex, who that she is dating now.
Your Honor, I can explain that situation. Your Honor,
Please do.
I did that out of revenge. At the time, Raniel was cheating on me with her. So I noticed that Demuriel was messaging a boy up on Facebook telling him how she missed him. So how about I get revenge on Raniel and talk to her boyfriend?
Here comes the man at the center of this tornado, Mr. Wallace himself. Jerome opens the door, and Mr. Wallace strolls in, looking as chill as a man can be, with 3 women ready to destroy him. Judge Lake gets straight to it. You're married to Ms. Reed? Yes. You were sleeping with Ms. Austin? Also yes. And possibly fathered a child? Allegedly. Sir, the word allegedly cannot save you here.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
How you doing?
Mr. Wallace, let me ask you, you married to Ms. Reed,
Yes.
but you were sleeping with Ms. Austin.
Then comes the shocker. Mr. Wallace admits he doesn't regret a thing. He says he cheated because he was bored and his wife didn't cook or clean. You could hear the courtroom collectively gasp. Judge Lake looks ready to throw her gavel. And Ms. Reed, she's furious. If you were so bored, why'd you keep coming home to me? She fires back. I mean, she's got him dead to rights. The math just isn't mathing.
She barely cooks, she doesn't clean.
Correction.
I cheated because I was bored in my marriage.
Oh.
I was too young to get married in the first place.
So why did you get married?
Because I felt like it was the right thing to do because I was being pressured and I had 3 kids.
But wait, it gets even uglier. Mr. Wallace admits he used Ms. Austin's money to take his wife out and buy their kids' diapers. You can't make this up. Even the courtroom can't help but laugh at the ridiculousness. Judge Lake, though, reminds everyone, there are children involved. This man has turned his love life into a full-time job, and not in a good way. It's chaos with child support payments attached.
Her child is your child?
No, ma'am.
Why is that?
Because she has.
Don't you say no, boy, and she look just like you. She look just like you.
the other
She got
guy.
everything. Everything you want, she got on that, everything.
She looked like the other guy, who is currently her boyfriend.
Ms. Reed breaks down, saying ever since Ms. Austin's baby was born, her kids barely see their dad. Her voice cracks, and the heartbreak is real. She's not just angry, she's hurt. He used to be there for my children, she cries, but now they get the short end of the stick. You can feel the pain in her words. Even Ms. Austin looks shaken for a second, before rolling her eyes again. Whew, these emotions are heavy.
I feel like ever since Rayel had other kids on my kids get the short end of the stick. They rarely see their dad. Like when I take them to see him, I have to like leave them with him in order for them to spend time with their father. So I feel like before her child even got in the picture.
Then, plot twist number 4. Another woman enters the courtroom. Angela Roberts, a new face, calmly says she too has a baby by Mr. Wallace. Judge Lake literally leans back in her chair like, Lord, not another one. The crowd gasps. We now have a wife, a mistress, and another woman, all claiming this same man fathered their babies. The man must think he's hosting The Maury Show, Extended Edition.
Thank you. State your name for the court, please, ma'am.
Kendra Robert.
Thank you so much. Now, what brings you to court today? What would you like to add?
I also have a 5-month-old child by Mr. Wallace that he claims he's not the father of.
You also have a 5-month-old child.
Angela claims she's got a 5-month-old by Mr. Wallace, and he's denying that baby too. She's not backing down, saying he's been lying to everyone. Judge Lake shakes her head, muttering something like, we're gonna need 2 DNA envelopes for this mess. And Ms. Reed, still furious, looks like she's ready to represent every scorned woman in America right now.
For the amount of $5,000. But what we found out today through testimony and confirmation is that Mr. Wallace actually went after Ms. Austin.
Correct.
Now, in order for you to sue for alienation of affection, you have to prove that this...
Finally, the first DNA test results are in. Cue the drum roll. Judge Lake reads slowly. When it comes to baby deal, Mr. Wallace, the courtroom holds its breath. You are the father. Boom! Ms. Austin jumps up yelling, told you dummy, and points at Ms. Reed. The crowd loses it. Ms. Reed fires back with pure attitude. You're hoping on strings! Chaos erupts as both women argue, while Mr. Wallace stands there like a statue. The man doesn't blink.
As per these results prepared by DNA Diagnostics, in the case of Reed versus Austin, when it comes to baby Demuriel, Mr. Wallace, you are her father.
Told you, dummy.
Judge Lake is done. She tells everyone to grow up, reminding them there are children involved, 4 confirmed, and maybe another pending. She looks at Mr. Wallace and says, you have everything to do with this. He just nods like it's Tuesday. The level of emotional maturity in that room? -5. The judge orders another DNA test for Angela's baby, because apparently this saga isn't over yet.
You all have 3 children together. Now we know you, Mr. Wallace, have another one. And maybe one sitting right here with this young lady. The fact that when you got this result, both of you 2 ladies start going at it and Mr. Wallace just standing there looking like he ain't got nothing to do with it when he got everything to do with everything in here.
Now we fast forward to the second half of the episode, and yes, they actually came back. Angela returns, determined to prove Mr. Wallace is her baby's father too. She says he met her walking down the street, flirted, and never mentioned he was married. Classic Mr. Wallace move. Judge Lake sighs so hard, I swear you can feel it through the screen. Even Jerome looks tired of this man's antics.
You are here requesting a paternity test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Wallace, that he is the father of your 5-month-old son, Danielle. You have asked the court to administer a lie detector test to he's still trying to be with you.
When asked if he forgot to mention he was married, Mr. Wallace says, and I quote, "It slipped my mind." Slipped your mind? Sir, you forgot a whole wife. The courtroom bursts into laughter, but Judge Lake is not amused. You have 2 women with 5-month-old babies possibly by you, she reminds him. Did you forget that too? He shrugs. I'm convinced this man's memory only works for bad decisions.
The defendant and ended up in this situation.
I met him around my auntie house. He was walking down the street. I started flirting with him. You know, he looked good to me or whatever, so I started flirting with him. He did not tell me, you know, he was in a relationship or none of that.
Finally, Mr. Wallace defends himself, saying he doesn't believe Angela's baby is his because the child doesn't have his features. Judge Lake reminds him that's the exact same thing he said last time, right before DNA proved otherwise. He's officially out of excuses. Then Angela claps back, saying, I got 5 kids and you got 4. What do you even do for yours? The courtroom erupts again. Savage, but fair point.
How could you forget about a marriage? All because he ain't wear the ring, so he ain't care
You
that.
forgot you were married or forgot to tell her?
It just slipped my mind.
Let me remind you that you have 2 women that may each have a 5-month-old child by you. Matter of fact,
By the end, the tension hits a boiling point. Ms. Reed and Ms. Austin start arguing again, hands flying, voices raised, while Mr. Wallace sits there like he's watching a sitcom about his own life. Judge Lake's patience finally snaps. This is a sad state of affairs, she declares. 3 beautiful young women acting a fool over you. The crowd cheers because she said what we're all thinking.
Correction. I found out about. Sorry.
see, y'all trying to confuse me.
Sorry.
Ms. Austin.
I found
Okay.
out to be Miss Wallace.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
Soon to be Miss
Correction.
Oh my God. Correction.
In the final twist, Mr. Wallace takes a lie detector test. When asked if he'd cheat again, he straight up says, yes. You could hear the audience gasp. Even Judge Lake looks stunned for a second before hitting him with a glare that could end careers. This man really said he'd do it again. Talk about zero remorse. And that, folks, is how you become the poster child for too messy for one case.
This is a sad state of affairs to see 3 beautiful young women act a fool over you.
Oh, we're back in Paternity Court, and Mr. Wallace is still out here causing chaos. Judge Lake looks like she's already over it as she reminds him. He's not single, he's married. But this man actually has the nerve to say his marriage was an accident. Sir, what? You can't accidentally say, I do 3 times and end up with 4 baby mamas. The audience is already side-eyeing him into another dimension.
Now, it would be different if you were just a young man sowing your oats and you had let all these women know that, listen, I'm a dating man, I'm single.
Ms. Reed, his estranged wife, jumps right in because apparently he's been texting her, I still love you messages just weeks ago. Meanwhile, he's telling everyone else he's single. The lies are multi-layered at this point. Judge Lake is done playing. She gives them the news flash. You're still married until you're divorced. And you can see Ms. Reed just nodding like, exactly, Your Honor. Please school this man.
You honestly still love me. You just the relationship just over with.
You married to him.
Yes, but we're We're trying to get divorced. I want nothing
Well,
to do with
I'll give you all this news flash. You're still married.
Then, Judge Lake turns to Ms. Austin, the new fiancé. And yes, fiancé. This man is engaged while still married. Judge Lake's tone says it all. What are you thinking? Ms. Reed immediately chimes in from the side, reminding Ms. Austin that he cheated before and will cheat again. I mean, the confidence of this man to propose mid-marriage deserves a separate legal category called audacity in the first degree.
What are you thinking?
Probably just falling for what he tells me, what he's saying.
You falling for what he tells you? But if you hear what he's done and all of these accounts of these women,
Ms. Austin admits she probably just followed what he told me. Girl, we know. He's been recycling the same lies since episode 1. But as soon as Judge Lake tells her that he was texting his wife recently, the realization hits. You can literally see her face drop. She had no idea he was still contacting the others. This man's web of lies could use its own zip code.
Miss Reed said he just texted her a couple weeks ago and said he wanted to be with her and Miss Roberts.
I didn't know that he texted Dominique. I didn't know that he texted Kendra. I didn't know. This is all new to me today.
Right when the tension is peaking, Judge Lake says it's time for the lie detector results. Oh, this is the moment. Before even being asked a question, Mr. Wallace admits to having sex with 4 other women not involved in this case, just in the past 3 months. The courtroom collectively gasps. Even Judge Lake looks stunned. 4 other women? Sir, do you even sleep? Or is this your full-time hobby?
In advance of taking the lie detector test, you admitted to having sex with 4 other women that were not involved.
Then she reads the results, and of course, he was telling the truth. Yup, this man really has been with 4 more women, on top of Ms. Reed, Ms. Austin, and Ms. Roberts. Judge Lake turns to Ms. Austin and asks the real question. Do you still want to be Mrs. Wallace? Ms. Austin just whispers, no. The heartbreak on her face says it all. Talk about realizing your man is for the streets and the whole neighborhood.
So during this test, you were asked, other than what you told me, have you had sex with any other women in the past 3 months? You had admitted in advance that you had sex with 4 other women that weren't involved in this case.
Judge Lake comforts her, telling her not to be ashamed because you're not the first woman to love the wrong man for too long. The audience nods like a congregation at church. Ms. Reed even claps for her. And honestly, that's growth. This is the first time we've seen sisterhood in this courtroom. For a split second, all the women unite in disappointment over the same man. Iconic.
Don't be ashamed. Look, first of all, let's really keep it real. You're not the first woman nor the only woman in this room that has loved the wrong man for too long. So you don't hold your head down, lift your head up. So you made a bad decision.
Judge Lake turns to Mr. Wallace and says, you tell me the truth, but you don't tell them the truth. And he casually replies, they know what I do. Excuse me? The crowd gasps, and Judge Lake hits him with the most deadly pause in TV history. Then, in perfect timing, she says, I'll tell you what you are. Awesome. Everyone bursts out laughing, including Ms. Reed, who calls him Elijah the Heartbreaker.
In advance of taking the lie detector test, you know what? Why even take the lie detector? I'll just tell the truth. What I don't understand is, Mr. Wallace, you tell me all the truth, but you don't tell anybody you sleeping with any truth.
And just when you think it can't get more ridiculous, Mr. Wallace actually says, if I could go back in time, I'd cheat again. The courtroom explodes. Even the bailiff's eyebrows jump. Judge Lake stands up, ready to throw him out. He's out here justifying his cheating spree by calling his wife a cheater. Then he starts yelling, and Judge Lake shuts it down quick. You will not talk to a woman like that in my courtroom. Go off, Judge.
So what you're saying is, if you could go back in time, you would cheat on your wife more.
Yes, I would do it again.
Because you feel like
she is a whore. She cheated on me. She slept with my friends.
He started
she is a whore. She has about...
At this point, Judge Lake kicks him out. He storms out, arguing with the bailiff, still mouthing off. The crowd's like, bye. But then, in the biggest shock of all, he comes back. The same man who just said he'd cheat again returns and apologizes to everyone, including the women he hurt. Talk about emotional whiplash. You can see even Judge Lake softening just a little bit.
Mr. Wallace, I know you had to have a moment. Sometimes we have to have that, but I'm glad you're back.
I'd like to apologize to you, the court, the bailiff, and to Miss Reed and Miss Austin.
Mr. Wallace admits he never had a father figure or a man to show him how to treat women. His voice cracks, and you can feel the weight of it. He says he's tired of being that way and just wants to be a better dad. The room goes silent, no laughter, no eye rolls. It's a rare, genuine moment on Paternity Court. Even Judge Lake gets emotional, telling him, "You could have walked out and never come back, but you came back."
Take your time.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man. I'm just here for my kids.
Judge Lake tells him she's proud of him for showing up and being vulnerable. She says he's been acting like a jerk, but now she sees he's just been hiding pain. You can feel how much that means to him. For the first time, the tough guy facade breaks. He's not smirking or defensive anymore, just honest. It's a rare redemption moment, and Judge Lake seizes it perfectly.
As I sat here earlier and watched you, I said to myself, wow, this guy's really acting like a jerk. But I think the important word in that sentence was acting, because what we see now is you're really not that jerk. That's a tough exterior.
Then comes the big one, the final DNA results. The tension is sky high. Judge Lake asks Ms. Austin to leave the room and brings Ms. Roberts back in. She's nervous but composed. Judge Lake commends her for walking back in and wanting the truth. Jerome hands over the envelope. You can feel the entire courtroom hold its breath. Here it is, the truth we've been waiting for.
I want to meet you exactly where you are. You say, Judge, I don't have a clue. And I say, you know what, Roniel, I got your back. And we are going to make sure you have the resources to become the kind of man and the kind of...
Judge Lake reads slowly, savoring every second. In the case of Roberts versus Wallace, when it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are the father. The courtroom bursts with emotion. Ms. Roberts looks relieved. Mr. Wallace actually smiles, and even Ms. Austin outside says she's glad the baby now has a father. After all the chaos, finally, some closure. And for once, Mr. Wallace doesn't deny it.
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are the father.